Hey guys, Dr. Hill here, and I just got back from the local farmers market, and I thought what a great opportunity to open up the webcam and share with you 6 reasons that you're always better buying at your local farmers market than at the standard grocery store. And I just want to show you, just look at some of these great bok choy radishes that I was able to pick up this morning. Guys, whether you're making food choices because you want to be on a paleo lifestyle diet or because you want to eat better food so that you can optimize your health, guys, eating from a local farmer's market is always going to be the better choice, and here's why. First of all, you're pretty much going to be buying seasonal foods. Now, there's a couple advantages to seasonal foods. One is that naturally, that's probably how we should be eating anyway, just simply because of the fact that we know certain crops are going to be better able to flourish in the summer versus some that are going to flourish better in colder months. So in general, when you have a crop that is being produced in the season that it's supposed to produce in, there's probably going to be produce is probably going to be fresher. There's going to be more nutritional value in that. And realistically, what that means for you as the consumer is that when you get that home and you're preparing it, whether you're eating it raw or whether you're using it in a cooked meal, it's probably just going to have better taste too. Now, keep in mind, and one of the reasons that a lot of us go to farmers markets is because it's just cheaper. You get more for your value. And when you're not having to worry about producing a crop out of season and having to try to use external stimulants, if you will, to try to enhance that crop's growth out of season, the crop just grows more easily. And again, it has more nutritional value. So you don't have to, there's not that cost that goes downstream to you as a consumer. The other thing that's really great about shopping from a local farmer's market is that the foods at a local farmer's market are pretty much going to be toxin-free options. Most of the vendors that come to a local farmer's market are of the same mindset that you and I are. They're going to be the ones that want to produce organic foods. They don't want toxins on their food. So they're not bringing food to sell to you that you're going to be concerned about. But always ask your vendor. Now, here's a couple of reasons that is so important is because a lot of foods coming in to our grocery stores are coming in from other countries. If you don't believe me, just look at the labels. They'll tell you where they're coming from. So some of the concerns with that is that other countries don't have the same regulations that the United States does, so they may still be using chemicals that were outdated or that have been outlawed for use in the United States. One of the other things that is important to recognize about this is that when you ship products in from other countries, to keep that produce in a state where it doesn't ripen too early, there's some considerations that have to be made. First of which is that when we look at the natural ripening of produce, a fruit or a vegetable, the compound that allows that to start moving forward is ethylene. And when we look at what has taken place regarding ethylene, there's now genetic modification that it's reducing the production of synthesis of ethylene within the crop, so that slows down the ripening process. And then there's also genetic modification that is taking place that is actually reducing the response to ethylene within these plants, which means that the receptors in these cells just don't respond to ethylene as efficiently anymore. So you can ship things from out of the country over a long distance and still have them sit at the market and be ripe. Now, this is something that's been going on for a long period of time, over 20 years now. Ironically, this was something that was called the flavor saver tomato, was what originally made it into the marketplace with this. So, if you're looking for foods that you don't want to consume because they may have genetic modification, tomatoes should be on your radar of things you want to definitely buy at the local farmer's market. So with that said, my third reason for why you should shop at your local farmer's market is because you know where your food's coming from. You're not having to worry about what country it's being shipped in from and how it's being handled. You pretty much are going to know that you're shaking hands with the guy at the local farmer's market that produced your food, or maybe even the people that are working with him. So there's some love and attention that's being given to that food that wouldn't be otherwise. Now, some of you may snicker at that, but I definitely think there are some true advantages to knowing your local farmer. The first of which is that guy has to look you in the face every time you buy food from him. So the quality that he's likely giving to you is going to be much higher if he has to shake your hand and look you in the face every time. Obviously, that doesn't happen when you're going to the local grocery store. The other thing is that food is grown with care pretty much by these guys. I always enjoy going to the farmers market and talking to these guys, seeing how they handle their produce, or how they raise their crops, what type of things that they're doing to give themselves better soil, all these types of interventions that they use in these strategies. And what I can tell you is that by and large, most of the guys at your local farmers market are putting much more attention into growing good, healthy crops. They're adding things in that you're just not going to see from the agriculture industry. So another good reason to consider this. The other reason is that they don't abuse the soil. Modern agriculture beats up the soil pretty bad, whether we're talking about just consistently farming it too frequently, or whether we're talking about the different fertilizers and toxins that get applied to it too readily. That's just completely inconsistent with the way a crop is naturally designed to grow. The other thing is that these guys are all, these local vendors that come to the farmers market, our local farmers, they are also helping us develop functional foods, or they're developing more functional foods. Now, you may look at that and go, well, wait a minute, what's a functional food? We've heard about functional medicine. A functional food is a food that truly has some nutritional value to it. It just doesn't just have a protein, a fat, or a carbohydrate in it. No, it has much more than that. It actually has a lot of nutrient density, a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals, a lot of antioxidants. The colors are much deeper and richer. Those are your anti-inflammatory compounds. A lot of the health promoting benefits that we think about with food are derived from their color. The foods at your local farmers market tend to have much more color in them. So that's the fourth reason. The fifth reason that you should be buying from your local farmers market is just a diversity of food. Flat out, it gets you out of a routine of buying the same foods all the time. And you go to the table that these guys have set up, and you see a lot of different foods. And you maybe, I know I've done this myself, I look at the foods and I have to ask the guy, what do you have here? What have you grown? And they tell me, and it piques my interest, and I want to try it. So you have an opportunity to have a much greater diversity of food. And again, this also goes back to that initial point of eating seasonally as well. They're pretty much going to keep you in that seasonal pattern of eating. And then the last point, the sixth and final point I want to make here of why you should buy from your local farmers market is that you want to support the local guy. I mean, we want to, and I'm by no means an economist or financial expert, but we want to keep the money locally. So if we're supporting these guys, they have a greater opportunity to support their business and put the money back into their business, which in turn means that they're going to give better food back to us, which is at the end of the day what we're looking for. So guys, visit your local farmers market. You'll be terribly surprised at what you're going to find. There's so much variety, so much opportunity to take advantage of. And what I want to close on with today is I just want to show you an example of a broccoli that we were able to pick up this morning. And what you're going to see, if you'll notice this broccoli doesn't look anything like what you find in the supermarket. This broccoli was actually picked at a younger age. You can see it's still ripe, or still fresh, and has a high degree of nutritional value. I was actually able to shake the guy's hand this morning that we bought this from. So definitely start shopping at your local farmers market if you're not already growing some stuff yourself, which we are, and we still go to the local farmers market just again to see what kind of diversity you have. So guys, thanks for taking the time and listening. I'm Dr. Arland Hill.